Yo, what's going on, guys? Realm Gaming here, back in another video. Today's episode, we are looking at the Phase 3 Ranged Hunter for Season of Discovery. This guide is going to cover runes, talents, and rotation. One thing to preface, this is a beginner's guide and for people just learning Hunter for the first time, so this is going to be a no information overload type of guide. This guide is not going to help you parse over 90 or anything crazy like that. This is just going to be a basic general guide for getting started with Hunter for Phase 3. And then once again, this will not cover anything with Melee Hunter. That's going to be a separate video. This is going to be for Ranged Hunter only. That being said, let's get started with the talents. So our first 5 points here in the marksmanship tree is going to be in efficiency. Reduces the mana cost of your shots and stings by 10%. We're putting 5 points into lethal shot, so increases the critical strike chance with ranged weapons by 5%. 4 points into improved Hunter's Mark, increases the range attack power bonus of your Hunter's Mark spell by 12%. We're putting 1 point into aimed shot, and aimed shot in our rotation is actually going to only be cast on pre-pull. So we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get into the actual rotation, but it is worth a point for that pre-pull burst. We're putting 5 points into improved Serpent Sting. We're putting 5 points into Mortal Shots to increase our weapon critical damage bonus by 30%. 3 points into Barrage here, so this will increase the damage done by our multi-shot and volley spells by 15%. So 5 points into Range Specialization, which will increase the damage we deal with ranged weapons by 5%. 1 point into True Shot Aura, which will increase the attack power of our party members within 45 yards by 50. 4 points into Improved Aspect of the Hawk. So while Aspect of the Hawk is active, all normal range attacks have a 40% chance of increasing range attack speed by 30% for 12 seconds. That's really good. And then 3 points here into Monster Slaying. All right, so that's sort of the general talent. Let's go ahead and get into our runes. So kind of core to our rotation is going to be the Lock and Load Head rune. So each time one of our traps is triggered, your next shot within 20 seconds costs no mana and it does not incur a cooldown. So this means we want to pair this with our hardest hitting ability, right? Our hardest hitting shot, because since it doesn't incur a cooldown, that means we can cast it back to back. So we're going to be pairing this with our Chimera Shot. And if you're not familiar with what Chimera Shot is, it's right here. It's going to be our hand rune. So you deal 120% weapon damage, refreshing the current sting on your target and triggering an effect. So since we're running Serpent Sting, instantly deal 48% of the damage done by your Serpent Sting. So this is probably our hardest hitting ability. It is going to be your core rotational ability. So you want to make sure, if you get anything from this guide, is how to play around Lock and Load and Chimera Shot. Up next in our chest rune, we are running Heart of the Lion. So the hunter invokes the Heart of a Lion, increasing total stats by 10% for all nearby allies and for the hunter as well. But for us, we get an additional 10%. So really strong there. In the wrist rune, we are running the new Focus Fire ability. So it consumes all applications of Frenzy from your pet, increasing your range attack speed by 3% and granting 4 focus to your pet for each application of Frenzy consumed last 20 seconds. Your pet gains Frenzy each time it uses a basic attack, increasing its melee attack speed by 6% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So what this means is we want a pet that attacks really fast, and we want to get off as many focus abilities as we possibly can within, the duration of a fight. So this means that the Broken Tooth pet is going to be our best in slot pet since it has a 1.0 attack speed. And we will also not be using the Bite ability. We're going to be using Claw rank 7 on the pet only. All right, we already talked about the hand rune. Let's move over to the waist rune. Exposed Weakness. Your melee and range criticals increase your attack power by 40% of your current agility for 7 seconds. In the leg rune, we are running Sniper Training. Your shot abilities gain 2% increased critical strike chance when you have not moved for the last 2 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. While moving, you will lose 1 stack per second, so you want to be as stationary as you possibly can. And as you can see here, this is going to scale pretty well with Exposed Weakness. And then finally, in our foot rune, we're running Trap Launcher. Your traps can now be placed at any location within 35 yards and can be placed while you're in combat. Additionally, your fire-based and frost-based traps now have a separate shared cooldown. So that means we are going to be alternating between Immolation Trap and Frost Trap again to trigger our lock and load. All right, guys, then in terms of the rotation, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be casting aim shot. We're going to pre-cast it on pull. Then outside of that, we're not worrying about aim shot anymore. We just want that burst damage from aim shot. From there, we're going to be getting our Serpent Steam up, and through Chimera Shot, you're not going to have to reply this anymore. So we just cast it one time, and then it's up for the rest of the fight. We're going to cast Flame Trap to trigger our lock and load. And then through lock and load, we can Chimera 2 times in a row. From here, your next priority is going to be using Focus Fire at 5 stacks. And we will multi-shot from here on out over aim shot, because overall it actually does more damage than aim shot. So this is basically going to be something that you're doing in your downtime. Then of course, when lock and load is about to expire, we will Frost Trap to proc it again. Then we will Chimera it 2 times in a row. Now, after this initial sort of rotation here off the pull, we kind of go down into a more of a maintain phase. So what we're going to focus on, right, is keeping Chimera on cooldown. That's going to be obviously the most important thing. And these two do kind of go hand in hand, right? Because we do want to trap before every single Chimera. So make sure we are doing that. In our downtime, we will be using multi-shot over aim shot. We will keep as much uptime as we possibly can on Focus Fire. And then again, traps will be pretty much used on cooldown before every Chimera. And then right here is just kind of a simplified, beginner-friendly rotation here, right? So we're going to be focusing on a trap into 2 Chimeras. We're going to look at our Focus Fire stacks. We're going to consume it at 5 stacks. We will multi-shot. We will trap again, and then we can Chimera. So again, this is just kind of a beginner-friendly rotation here that you can kind of follow after your initial rotation. And one thing I did just notice, it does say phase 4 here, but that does not affect our talent tree and runes in any sort of way, right? So just kind of a quick disclaimer there. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, this is just sort of a beginner-friendly quick start guide to get you started in phase 3 of Season of Discovery for Ranged Hunter. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.